video, I guess, in the wonderful garage with the 350 SL and Mr. Jose. Oh yeah. So what we're doing today is, I guess I don't have to talk so loud because I have the mic right here on me, so I don't have.
Go.
Yeah. So hopefully it's working. Let's see. Test. I'm sure it is. If there's anybody out there, give me a thumbs up. You know, we're good to go. So, so what have you been doing here a little bit? We picked up some Evercoat Body Shop, and so this is a pro grade. Are we pros?
I sure am not.
I'm not either, but picked this up at a auto parts store, and so we're using this, and then be using, this is more or less your typical Bondo, so to speak. Again, it's a pro grade body filler kit.
Ooh.
Now, I don't know, Madison, if you can move the camera, point it down. We've already kind of started. There was some rust right along here that we're actually filling, and it's starting to get hard. We didn't get enough hardener in it, but it's getting, yeah, well, you know, we're learning.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where it's going to be ready to sand pretty shortly. And then I'm going to, actually, you're going to watch Jeff actually do something on the video. You can see I've got a few little door dings. I've got one there that I'm going to mess with. And then there's a few little spots. Hood's already sanded down to the coat. And remember, in the previous videos, I wanted to get down to at least the red layer. I figured once I go over this with 120 and 220, the last layer of primer, which is on top of the first layer of red, will go away. But as you can see, these are some spots that have little tiny dimples in them, or little dents, that I'm going to take the filler, and I've roughed it up a little bit, but I'm going to take the filler, and then I'm going to fill those little spots just to give it, you know, a light coat. And then when I sand it with the 120 and the 220, it will actually look a little bit more even, especially when we get paint going on it. So that's what we got going on. So Madison, I think what we'll do is have you just kind of have the camera back there pointed at him every once in a while, pointed at me. I'm going to set up my my little piece of cardboard using good way to get rid of some Amazon boxes. I'm going to get me some body filler out here and dip me out a little bit.
Someone asked, you're not painting it there, are you?
Not in this garage. Yeah, we're going to create a booth, a paint booth inside this garage. Great question. Hopefully, you know, we'll get all the dust out, and the time that we're going to paint, the goal is what was it? The last week of March, first weekend in April, because the temperature at about that time is going to be in the upper 50s to upper 50s to low 70s. So
we also got a question on which car this is.
This is the 350 SL, the 1972 350 SL, production number 417.
And then we're also going to have a lot of fun polishing out all the dust. Probably being in this garage.
Yeah.
We'll work with what we got.
Yeah, we're working with what we got, but what we're going to do is create a, you know, kind of a paint booth in here, just for the sake of, you know, putting up some of the plastic and so forth, you know, kind of creating a bubble. You know, around the car, trying to hopefully give it somewhat of a sterile environment. Between Jose and I, we've got a friend that he's got experience in the body and paint industry. He's volunteered. All I got to do is feed him, which,
Yeah.
that's a pretty cheap paint job, but he indicated to me that he kind of goes fast. So I hope, because this car is going to be white, back to its original color, and it is 050 white. It's just one of those things that I've painted one car in here before without creating a dome, so to speak. But we'll see how we'll see how this one comes out. And the first car I painted in here wasn't too bad.
It
was
turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it really did. It was a base coat, clear coat. It was a 1970. What was it? 1977 280 SE. And it was my first shot at painting a car in 25 years. So, I'm not sure I can handle it. So that's why I thought, well, we'll, empower somebody else. How about that, Jose? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you have the proper mask and stuff for painting and whatnot?
Well, I do, and I'm probably going to have to buy one. I still have, you could tell, well, here's mine. Here's the one that I used back then. I probably can change the filters out. But, if Josh is, and I'll call him out, Josh, a friend of mine, he's going to be the one that paints it. Now, what we probably will do is paint the car first. Because right behind it is the, Madison, if you want to turn around, we've got the actual hard top is sitting out. Probably do it separately, paint the car and then get the car out and then paint the hard top. What we are going to do is, I think we decided to put the trunk lid back on the car when we paint it. But as you can see, we've been messing with the underneath side of it. The other side is pretty clean. There's very little hail dents or dimples and things like that in it, but it's, my stuff's starting to get hard, so.
Recommended a flush air mask and paint in single stages.
Okay, thank you.
Bad idea.
That's actually not a bad idea. Thank you. Whew, boy, the Bondo and the stuff in here, the stuff that.
You're so hippie right now.
Oh, get a little high over there, are you?
No.
No. Goodness gracious.
Don't tell my boss.
So, folks, put your comments down below. What do you think of the car? And if Madison, if you want to kind of, I don't know if we can pull the camera back. If you followed the rest of the videos on the car, there's still a lot of work. But one of the things that we've got a challenge with is this trough where the rubber seal for the trunk. There's a spot there. Jose, Huey, whatever we call him today.
Yep.
We actually opted to put a second panel. Only we are going to know about that extra piece of sheet metal. That was to give some backing, to the side where the metal was fairly thin. But only we know it's there, because what I'm going to do after the fact is I'm going to carpet. I'm going to carpet the inside of the trunk, and I think there's parts in this box. Yeah, there's.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm going to carpet the inside of this trunk because in the later years, when you get to the late 70s, that's when they started carpeting them. But I'm just going to put a black carpet in there. So, and it'll cover that piece of sheet metal up. But for a 1972 model car, I gotta say, it's not bad. I mean, overall shape is not bad. And if you have any questions, or want to see the car when it was put together before we took it apart, I encourage you to go back a few of the videos. I do have a playlist of the 350 SL, and then I have a playlist of the 280S EL, and then I do have a playlist of the infamous GL 350 diesel that's sitting out there. So,
She is a pretty one.
yeah, it is a pretty car. And once it got sorted through with that, the timing chain tensioner.
Oh yeah.
It's been fine. Now, this week, our overnight lows here in northeast Nebraska are going to be in the 10 below zero. So I'm curious as to because it does not have a block heater plug in on it or nothing. So I'm wondering how it's going to react by starting, one day next week. Of course, it doesn't get driven that much, but it's something I might get out to see if it'll start. Now I do have the diesel fuel treatment in there and so forth. So hopefully it won't gel up. But
So the guy that's been asking questions and stuff and recommendations said to also spray it with white sealer, let it flash off, and then paint it.
that's exactly what I'm going to do. In fact,
and then paint it the original color, which is what we're working on.
Yep, exactly. Thank you for bringing that up because I did order a urethane primer sealer that I would probably be here in the next week or two. I'll start spot sealing in places like up here under the hood. In fact, that's what we'll do. Let's open the hood because I'll show you, folks. There's where the problem we've got is underneath the hood. Now I put a blanket there to kind of protect the engine, but you can see I've got to still sand the inner fender liners because they're going to have to be painted white. I'm going to take out the radiator overflow tank, and then you get on this other side. All these wires and things that are attached here, I'm going to use just a Scotch-Brite pad to kind of go along the metal so that I can get it back to white. The original white, as you can see, it's, this is going to be done with a touch-up gun, so I don't have all the overspray, and then I'll tape it, plastic it off, tape it off, try and do some of this with just, low pressure, and just because there's a lot of work here, but I want it back to its original color because right here is what it says, 050, white. Next question. That was a great question and great suggestion. But yes, using a primer sealer. And that was the reason, too, for getting down past this, the top red and the primer that was on top of the first red to getting it down to there. Because this surface, whoever painted it the first red, did a great job because they stripped the entire car down. But they didn't prime it in between the white and the red. So I think by putting the urethane primer sealer on there in the white will really help blend everything together, and it'll make the top coat of paint stick. Okay, well, that's still tacky. I may not got enough hardener in mine, and as you can see, I've put a little primer on the fender. Part of that is as moist as it is out here, in the garage because, well, I have no concrete floor. I have a torpedo right now for a heater when I'm out here. The moisture in here, I don't want any surface rust. So what we're doing is, if I get into the metal, then I hit it with a little bit of a rattle can primer.
The white sealer will also prevent the red from bleeding through.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and that'll be, and I guess the question on that is too, once I put the white sealer on, that's where I can knock off any imperfections with 400 or 600 grit with wet sanding it in the day of or the day before prep paint work. So hopefully it'll all work out. The biggest challenge, I don't know, Madison, you can, is these AMG ground effects. I haven't gotten down there yet because, well, this old body has a hard time bending over. I got carrying a little bit of Santa Claus belly here. But getting that sanded, and we're going to have to shoot. Gilly and I talked about putting this thing up on 4 jack stands, getting it up off the ground, so that makes it easier to paint underneath the ground effects. We still may do that, Yui. I just need to get a couple more because I only have two jacks.
Hey, I got to bring my jacks too.
Oh, okay. You have another pair. So
Yep.
we might actually do that. But the problem is, then we are going to have to definitely paint the hard top second or last, or at a separate time. So, well, Josh, you may have to come back out here twice. I guess I'll be on the hook for another meal of some sort. So, but or beer. Well, beer, but I don't want to encourage too much beer because then they have to drive. Have to leave from here. So, next question. I appreciate the comments.
Put it on stands, and before you paint it, spray some water on the ground to prevent the dust.
Yep, I did that before. In fact, I have I have a little tool right here. I could do exactly that because if you notice, folks, my floor is not. There's no concrete. I got a gravel floor, so I can put water on it all day long, and it'll just soak right on down through the ground. So yes, we will be doing that. In fact, what we had talked about is putting a tarp down, when we're ready. But hadn't gotten that far yet. But I think the jack stands, if we get it up in the air, I think we could put some plastic or tarps underneath there. So let's see how this is. Oh, still a little tacky. I wanted to. That's still a little tacky. How's he doing over there? Is this?
Jose, how you doing?
Oh, this one's great.
I'm gonna. It looks like yours over here is on the back side of this lip is past the tacky stage. Let's see here.
Oh, and also use box fans and close the garage doors down on them.
So yes, we've talked about that. In fact, if you want to point, so we got this one fan here, and this was helping get rid of the dust. Well, today it's 8 degrees outside, so
And feels like negative 12.
yeah. So I don't want to let the cold air in. In fact, hopefully this torpedo heater doesn't come on. But yeah, and that window right there goes into that would be a perfect spot. I was going to open it up Inside in the other bay over there is the other SL that I have. It's all covered up, but I thought about putting a box fan in there so that I can get rid of the paint dust. But yes, plastic along the garage and up above, and getting a box fan. Here's some 80 grit.
She's dry.
Great suggestion, and probably have air coming in this way and then going out this way. So the day of painting, we don't want to have any cars sitting right outside the garage door because of the paint dust.
So do you still think we'll have this done by, what was it, April?
About tax day. So the way we're coming, I would say the first initial prep of the car, I'm more than half of the way done on the preliminary sanding. I still have below the belt lines and have those to do, which is, it just is a matter of just getting out here and sitting on my butt and doing it. All the welding is done, right, Yui?
So far, to what we've seen, yeah.
Okay. So I'll probably start if I get a warm day, I'll probably start working inside here, scuffing and painting. I did notice something else, a part that I'm going to need. I need the hood seal, and it looks like I just now noticed something here. Oh yeah, that's need to do some attention to that. But there's supposed to be a hood seal that goes along there, and also, folks, I've got to do underneath the hood as well. So talked about taking the hood off, but then I thought, it'd be more of a pain in the butt. So I just shoot it with probably just shoot it with just an airbrush just to get that. But I'm going to have to get it down to the at least the scuffable, and that way I can get the sealer on it. What else? I'm going to go about another 8 minutes. So if there's any questions, now's the time to fire them off. And by the way, folks, appreciate those who are watching. I can't tell how many are watching.
We've got 58 viewers right now.
We have 58
Or
viewers.
64.
64 viewers. Whoa. Okay, so folks, I appreciate it. I mean, I'm glad that a lot of people have tuned into my YouTube live feed today. I really do appreciate that. You don't know how much that really does mean to me, because I'm just a working guy that likes to tinker with cars, and quite frankly, I can't afford the $8,000 or $10,000 that it was going to cost to have this done professionally at a professional body shop. So probably won't stream the day that we're painting, but I may do another stream the weekend before, as we're getting close to the preparation, because once I hopefully get a sterile environment created in here, it'll just be very minimal people in and out, because that day is going to be a long day. Probably shoot the first coat of color, about 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock. And then the second coat of color, probably, depending on the temperature and how fast he goes, the second coat will be at 1, 2 o'clock maybe. Excuse me. And then the third coat, probably 4 o'clock, or the clear coat, probably about 4 o'clock. So it'll be a long day. We'll get some more lights up in here so that it's the white, so we can see, but white is a little bit more forgiving. But with having a white sealer and then a white paint going over the top of it, that's gonna. I hope that Josh's eyes are good so that he can see it as he's laying it on.
The person that's been asking questions and making recommendations is a professional automotive painter,
Oh well, thank you.
and said that if you have any questions, you can also ask.
All right,
and
so-
then also asked if there was anywhere to rent a booth in our area.
Unfortunately, okay, where I live in Tekamah, Nebraska, no.
Little itty bitty town.
Yeah, we're a town of about 1,800 people. The closest would be Omaha, and then I'd have to probably put this in an enclosed car trailer, and you know, it'd be a pain it'd be a pain, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try a redneck paint job, but make it as professional as we can. You know.
Make it better than it was.
Yes,
It
and
was
so
pretty
if.
sad before.
It really is, and my wife likes the red, God. And she's not a big fan of white, but I think she'll like, because this white is not a bright white. It's kind of a what I call a ceiling white.
Looks like a cream white.
It's a cream white, and it's the color that was used on the Mercedes Pagodas back in the 60s. I think they stopped using the 050 white about 76. And there's not many of them out there. I've done some research, and I think I have mine, and I think there may be one or two others that are left with the low production number. So this was the 417th one imported into the United States, and it's remarkably still here. So I like the car.
She also said white is classy on the old Mercedes.
I agree.
Yep.
I truly agree.
This one has to be original.
I've got to make this one original because it's just as much as I can. I really wish, excuse me, I really wish I had the patience to take more parts and pieces off underneath the hood, but you know, we're going to just try and do it as much as I can, you know, with what we have. But I think there's a car show coming up in Blair, Nebraska. It's over Father's Day weekend. So that's the end goal, is to take this down to Blair to, you know, it's sponsored by the Corvette Club, but there's some European cars there, and I'd like to have this one there. So having that date of first part of April, for the paint work is a pretty lofty goal, but then we still have some other things to do on the car. I've got some tie rod end bushings. I've got some body mount bushings and a few things like that to deal with. The car starts, it runs. I want to change out I want to put either that or strip this down and paint it back to its original gold color, which is what it was, the coolant reservoir. But there's a few other little details that need to be done on the car. So, but that gives me some more months to where we could take it out, drive it, come back, and isolate the problem. So let's jet over here to see how the man, the myth, the legend is doing.
It's coming along. Much better.
Yeah, that looks a lot
It's
better.
all rusted out.
White will also show the least amount of imperfections.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. That's why when I grew up learning all this stuff, I learned in the RV industry, and all of ours were either white or cream. So it hides a lot of imperfections, but it's still, like whoever said, it's classy. So that's the end result. So, well, folks, we appreciate you joining in today, and thank you. And again, thank you so much for supporting my channel. we're on the road to hopefully get monetized at some point. But I'm having fun doing this, and quite frankly, I think my wife thinks I'm nuts, but let it be.
Well, maybe you are.
I am, but I started this originally with a friend of mine, the Idiot Car Guys, and we kind of branched away, and I just kind of kept going with all my own projects. So, excuse me, all the doves in here already. Appreciate y'all watching. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining us here on this February 16th on my live video. Thank you.
Toodaloo.
Peace from Canada.
Hey.
You have to take it off
Bye.
again.